Chapter 6. The Agent. In the morning of next day, after I defeated the bloodthirsty murderers in Labyrinth, I woke up, and I wasn't alone. Good morning, Sirius-sama. Emilia. After what happened yesterday, I thought she would turn meek, but she appears to be acting normally. No, I should say she got a power-up. Sirius-sama, here is a change of clothes. Please have a wet towel, because your hair is messy. Since the breakfast has been made, I'll prepare it if you want to eat. Emilia. When I got up, the morning house chores had all been completed. Since this is a world that doesn't measure time, I confirm that it is time to get up based on the position of the sun. Emilia, when did you come here? Sirius. Just a while ago. I was hugged by Sirius-sama yesterday and I slept happily until this morning. That is why, I've had enough sleep and my physical condition is perfect. A little while ago and, to think she could complete all house chores in about 1 hour? Oh well, I've also had enough sleep, so I won't say anything. Her cheeks reddened and she seemed to be squirming in happiness. Her complexion was good according to what she said. Her glossy tail moved in line with her body and no problems with her condition could be seen at all. When I made a gesture to examine her, just to be sure, Emilia came over before me like in an instant. Did you call me, Emilia? Although I merely called her, she smiled and laughed delightfully, and she was waiting for my words, while wagging her tail. When I extended my hand while remaining sitting on the bed, she understood what I wanted to do and lowered her head. I put my hand on her head and invoked, scan. There is no anomaly. Sirius. Of course. It feels like I can do anything right now. Emilia. She continued wagging her tail while humming. She was over the top with happiness. Yesterday, if she wasn't able to recover, I was thinking of kissing her on the forehead in order to cheer her up. I had a disagreeable feeling so I stopped and did not do it, and it might have been a correct decision. If I did that, I wonder what on earth would have happened to this child. After that, Emilia and I went to kitchen and we were eating the prepared breakfast. If I got careless, I might not get to taste such wonderful meal. Thankfully today I get to eat our normal meal. Today, there is no morning practice, since Emilia is still recovering. So, while we were having breakfast leisurely, I heard a sound from the entrance and Reese barged into the diamond cottage. Sirius-san. Emilia is not in the sick room, she's here after all. Reese. Good morning, Reese. Sirius, Emilia. Good morning. That's not it. You sneaked away from the sick room without permission. I was surprised when I went there in the early of morning and you were gone. Reese. I did leave a note though. Emilia. That is not the problem. Ha, I'm glad that you seem to be alright. Reese. Reese was holding her head, but after knowing that Emilia was safe, she reverted back to her usual kind expression. Reese sat down on the chair that became her spot after 2 years, then she got her serving of everything on the table. While Emilia served some soup in front of her, Reese joined her hands. She also imitated us by pressing her hands together before meal. She was not only able to use fork and spoon, but also became used to chopsticks. It seems to be delicious today too. Itadakimasu, Reese. Her manner of eating is extraordinarily refined. Her basis starts with eating soup without any sound and then eating a meal elegantly. Nevertheless, she eats as much as Royce, who eats a lot, and yet she finishes it up in no time easily. Contrary to her refined style, her eating speed is amazing. It is not unusual for a huge meat steak to disappear. I understand Royce eating a lot, but since she who eats as much as him never seems to gain any weight, I wondered where does all that food go to? I am wondering what's with the intense look. Reese. Ah, sorry. I think Reese really seems to enjoy eating. Sirius. Because, it is delicious. Reese. Thank you. It was worth it to make it. Emilia. As I continued eating my meal, a sound could be heard coming from the entrance again, and the kitchen's door was slammed open. Aniki, Nei-chan, good morn, ouch. Royce. Royce, you too huh? Royce appeared while still being bandaged from head to toe. He held his chest and seemed to be in pain, but why would these siblings just not behave, I wonder? Hey, Royce. It's not good if you are not sleeping properly in the sick room. Amelia. You are not convincing even if you say that. Reese. It's boring to only lie down and the meal in the sick room is nowhere near enough. Royce. It's not that I don't understand, but I wanted you to sleep properly. Sirius. Royce also sat down at his regular spot and started eating. Although he is still recuperating, this child really eats a lot. 2 portions have been consumed already. Delicious. Nei-chan, is there another helping? Royce. There is more since I made a lot. Amelia. It's pointless to say anything by now. Amelia, I would like some more too. Reese. Yes, eat a lot, alright. Amelia. Although they almost got killed the day before, things were the same as usual. I put some bread in my mouth, while looking at my disciples spend their time happily. It is normally practice time when the breakfast is finished, but for today I intended to change that. I waited for suitable time after finished eating and I gathered their attention. Starting from today, you guys are prohibited from fighting with the exception of training or an emergency. Therefore, I won't accept any objections. Sirius. I wonder, is it because we are recuperating? Amelia. That's right. I made the tough decision yesterday. Your bodies are in a bad condition, so even if you practice, it will backfire. I also intend to be moderate today, so you guys can do whatever you like today. Sirius. If that's the case, Aniki, what are you doing this morning? Royce. Well, Sirius. Since we have finished eating breakfast, there is nearly 1 hour left before school. When I think about what we should do, the frying pan and eggs in the kitchen are quite the obvious choice. I wonder if I should make some kind of pastry. Sirius. Really? Reese, Royce, Amelia. Those 3 leaned forward on the table and drew closer to me. Rather than that, Royce. If you're going to complain of pain, you know you're not supposed to do that, right? I'll make an easy one for the time being. Should I make crepes? Sirius. Crepes. Sirius-sama, is there anything I can help with? Amelia. Fruit is necessary, right? I will cut fruits. Reese. I will stir anything, ouch. Royce. You sit down and hold still. Sirius. As soon as they finished making confections, the disciples attacked the fresh-made crepes. I went to school together with everyone, and then we entered the classroom. As soon as we sat down, the classmates gathered around us. So far everything was normal except the mood, which was really different today. Hey, you were involved with incident in the labyrinth, am I right? What happened? Aniki. What's with those injuries? How did that happen? Royce underlings. What on earth came out? Is the injury not too severe for a golem's doing? Yesterday's incident was already widely known and the classmates were also all concerned. It looks like the rumor is spreading, but the part about dragon's fresh blood doesn't seem to be. Besides, the incident that we got involved in the labyrinth was the only thing that was spread out. To be honest. When I was about to go home yesterday, I was told by headmaster not to talk in detail about the incident. I told my disciples not to talk about the terrible murderers, but what does the school intend to do about this situation? Good morning, Sirius-kun. I'm not sure what went on, but most importantly you are safe. Mark. Good morning, Mark. I can't talk too much about it, but yeah, everyone is safe. Sirius. You can't say too much huh? Something did happen after all. Mark. I think there will be announcements soon. Leaving that aside, we have company. Mark. Those guests were Mark's companion who went to school together with him. So, when the classroom's door opened, the said people appeared. Excuse me, Hart. Excuse me, Merluza. It's Hart and Merluza. It was known that these two were the victims of yesterday's incident. The class became quiet suddenly by their sudden appearance. As the classroom became quiet suddenly, they walked leisurely and stood in front of Amelia and Royce. Is there something, Amelia? It looks like it, Royce. Royce, I have something to say to you. Hart. Amelia, I have something to say to you. Merluza. While they were glaring at each other, those two nobles lowered their heads calmly. I don't remember since I was pushed away by you, but I heard that I was saved by your help. I would like to express my sincere gratitude. Hart. Amelia, I was saved by your magic. I really appreciate it, Merluza. Ha, Amelia and Royce. The nobles gave their thanks while displaying the dignity of nobles to the extent of hiding their previous self-important behavior. Seeing the entirely different attitude compared to yesterday, the siblings couldn't hide their bewilderment and merely gave vague replies. I have expressed my gratitude properly. Well then, please excuse me. Hart. I want to beat you in a match if possible. Well then, goodbye. Merluza. After conveying the things that they wanted, the two nobles went out of the classroom. The classroom was in an extremely indescribable situation and everyone was looking here. Then Royce, who was quiet, muttered in a low voice. What was that all about, Aniki? Royce. It was exactly as they said. Those two merely came to express their gratitude. They were belligerent yesterday, but they are still upright nobles, who respond to favors. Serious. It is somewhat complicated. Opening parenthesis question mark close. It is somewhat complicated. Opening parenthesis question mark close. It is somewhat complicated. Opening parenthesis. I guess so. Nevertheless, what I would like to say is, you guys did well. That's all. Serious. When I continuously pat their heads lightly, whether they understood or not, they were laughing. In any case, for whatever it is, I am proud of their conduct. The classroom became quiet because of those two nobles, but just as the classroom gradually became noisy again, Magna-sensei came. When I noticed, it looks like it was time for the lesson to start. Good morning. Since I have something to tell everyone, please calm down. Magna-sensei looked entire classroom and he nodded after confirming that the classroom was quiet. While he looked over the entire class, his eyes and mine met, and it wasn't my imagination. Everyone has probably heard about the incident happened in the labyrinth yesterday. Since the full detailed explanation will be given in auditorium this afternoon, please do not spread false rumors. And, Sirius-kun. Magna. Yes, what is it? Sirius. The headmaster seems want to hear your story of what happened in the labyrinth. Please go and see headmaster now. Magna. I was a little bit surprised when I was called suddenly. Then, Amelia and Royce stood up hurriedly to protest. Magna-sensei. Why only Sirius-sama, Amelia? Yeah, as for the incidents, he should hear it from us who are the victims. Royce. Although your objection is reasonable, aren't you guys Sirius-kun's servants? Since Sirius-kun as the master is here, then he should do the explaining, you know. Magna. There was truth in Magna-sensei's words, right? The siblings who were my servants couldn't say anything. Thus, they seemed lonely as I went out of the classroom. Then, I came alone in front of headmaster's office. It is a different room compared to the sensei's because it has high-grade double-leaf doors that gives an intimidating feeling. That being the case, it's no use hesitating at the door, so I knocked with confidence, since I was called. Sirius teacher is here. Sirius. Please come in, Rodwell. I opened the magnificent door and the headmaster was sitting in front of high-quality desk, that could be seen in the president's office of my previous life. Even so, an innocent young man, who didn't feel even the slightest bit curious, was called here by Rodwell. So, you came. I didn't prepare tea, but have a seat on that sofa. Rodwell. Please excuse me. Serious. I sat down on the sofa and before I could say anything, Rodwell also sat on the opposite side. We didn't begin a conversation immediately. We were just staring each other in silence. Such awkward atmosphere stayed for a while, and then Rodwell opened his mouth. Let's get to main point without delay. The purpose of my call is to inform you of yesterday's results since I wanted to hear some things from you. Rodwell. What do you want to hear? Serious. Since I will explain about that after this, I will tell you the results first. Yesterday, the two survivors from Dragon's Fresh Blood, Goron the leader and Romeos the human male were secured in the labyrinth and they were brought in a short while after you came back. Unfortunately, the remaining two died and they were sent to morgue. Rodwell. It's a matter of the interrogation's result, right? Serious. Yes, it is. There were various results from it but, Rodwell. It seemed that Rodwell also participated in that interrogation and he was going to explain the results in detail. First, it was carried out on Romeos. He was brought into small room and had woken up already. He was handcuffed and being made to sit in front of Rodwell and some others. Across the desk, the interrogation seemed to have begun with Rodwell and several other interrogators. Well then, your name is Romeos, right? Why did you guys come here? Rodwell. To kill people of course. Since it is fun, Romeos. To answer calmly. If that's the case, how did you guys came here? Or who invited you? We were invited by an old man who calls himself Gregory. He acted normally and didn't seem worth killing, but he said that we can kill some beastkin and a lot of other people. Romeos. Then, why were you able to enter the labyrinth without getting checked? Opening parenthesis question mark closing parenthesis. A letter of introduction from Gregory was given. It was a useful thing and not only in the labyrinth. Romeos. After that, there were some other questions and he answered them without any hesitation. Gregory's letter of introduction was seized, so it could be used as evidence. The way your answer is extremely smooth, don't you bastards regret your actions? Regret? I am merely acting on instinct, so I don't think I did bad things. That is why I don't feel the need to hide it. Romeos. All members were getting angry and shocked by Romeo's words, but while Rodwell sent sharp gaze, he continued to question him. It is not necessary to hide it, huh? Well then, let me ask you one last question. You guys were attacked. By whom? Rodwell. Romeos. Romeos, who was full of confidence, seemed to change suddenly right after that question. He couldn't calm down strangely, sweated a lot and it seems that his eyes were not focused. After that, they continued asking who defeated them until Romeos finally snapped. Stop being unreasonable. Why must I explain to you guys? Romeos. But, the opponent that defeated you guys must be a strong person. It is because we were not aware of such person. Rodwell. So you don't know, huh? I never want to see such a monster again. Romeos. I can see you came across something that befits a monster. Or maybe, the opponent's appearance was not what you expected. For example, someone like a child? Rodwell. Quote exclamation mark question mark quote. Quote exclamation mark question mark quote. Quote exclamation. Headmaster, no matter how you look at it, a child is impossible. The truth is your golems were running wild and they were beaten by it, something like that, right? AAA? Romeos. If that's the case, then it will be a problem, I think. Oh, how about that, Romeos-san? You are strangely agitated, could it really have been a child? Rodwell. Talking about a child in front of me is __. Romeos. He stood up while screaming, then he began invoking magic and, he died. And then, the interrogation was carried out on Goron next. When he was captured, he seemed to talk a lot before but he didn't seem to want to talk at all now. The reason is, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It seemed that there was no other reaction other than staring at nothing while holding his head and apologizing continuously. He is also hopeless. This guy was tougher when he was found in the labyrinth. He does nothing but apologize, so there is no way to have a conversation. Rodwell. This is troublesome. Despite hearing several things that we wanted to know. Opening parenthesis closing parenthesis. What kind of shock was given to him? Is it as good as Headmaster's magic? Headmaster. Are you the headmaster, Goron? When Goron noticed that the person in front of him was the headmaster, his eyes seemed to awaken and he raised his face. He tried to get near Rodwell but he fell down awkwardly since he was tied up. Did he still want to talk with Rodwell? He was trying to get closer even by crawling. Yes, I am the headmaster, so what is it, Rodwell? I don't want to say anything to anyone except the headmaster. Come now, please ask question quick. If you're not quick, R-A-R. Goron. Well then, Rodwell. Rodwell wondered why Goron became confused and weird but he answered the related questions obediently even though he was scared. He told everything such as the number of people that he had killed after coming to this town and the measures to deal with the aftermath, his past career and his ability. Despite not getting questioned anymore, he started to talk about things like favorite food, how many times he went to toilet every day and other things. He let out everything as if he was fighting for his life desperately. That is enough already. You don't have to talk anymore. Rodwell. Are you done hearing what you want to know? If that's the case, quickly, take me to that guy. Goron. Who is that guy, Rodwell? I don't know. It is not possible to say, you know. Since you asked, that guy is, quickly. Goron. Headmaster, it's dangerous. Please step back. Opening parenthesis Please step back. Opening parenthesis Please step back. Opening parenthesis Please. Shut up. Take me quickly to, R-H. Goron. And then, Goron died. Did both of them die? Serious. Yes, but I planned from the beginning to take care of them under the pretense of self-defense, because there is no reason to let them stay alive, if we have evidence. Even though Romeo's, who can use magic, was handcuffed in advance, it's not me who dealt with him. Rodwell. Well then, was it the interrogation officer? Serious. It was not. Romeo's was shouting and his head exploded suddenly during that time. Then he merely became lump of flesh. Goron was also the same. He absolutely hadn't received any external attack. Rodwell. Their head exploded? What merciless treatment. Serious. Rodwell glared like he wants to kill, letting out bloodlust at me who was trying to act dumb. What did you do to them? Rodwell. To them, what? Serious. Let me say from my experience and intuition. The total annihilation of Dragon's fresh blood was related to Sirius Kun, right? Rodwell. I was being suspected after all? My battle switch had activated automatically in response to the bloodlust. As I started up, multitask, I received an overpowering pressure from Rodwell right in front of me. What is the problem, I wonder? Serious. The possibility of bluffing is high. Nevertheless, must think of the possibility of worst-case scenario. Preparing, boost, multitask 1. Confirming the positions of the disciples by search. The response is in the classroom, multitask 2. The wall of this room contains a special ore that absorbs noise. So as for the sound, it won't be heard from outside, you know. In short, a secret talk or a little disturbance, it won't be noticed. Serious. Boost, S preparation is completed. Invoke at the same time as opponent's chanting, compromise his vision and retreat immediately after. Multitask 1. Contact the disciples by using call as the battle goes on. After escaping from the headmaster's room, ensure the disciples escape from school. Multitask 2. I will hear your answer. Why did you come here? If it is to bring harm to the school, I must use force. Rodwell. I am here for the sake of getting experience and knowledge, and then, to protect and raise my disciples. Sirius. Confirming the rise of mana from the opponent. Since opening with impact is obstructed, Magnum should be considered. Multitask 1. There is no opponent outside. Selecting shortest escape route, confirmed. Multitask 2. There is no mistake in your words, right? Rodwell. None, Sirius. Hypothesis completed. Multitask 1. Hypothesis completed. Multitask 2. I said the last word without hesitation. Rodwell and I were staring to each other in silence. I must not turn away my eyes from here. I can't show any hesitation. I do have faith in Rodwell after all, since I had proper interaction with him. The glaring persisted for several seconds, then for several minutes, then it ended with the disappearance of Rodwell's bloodlust. To endure my bloodlust until now, it seems certain that you were the one who defeated them. Rodwell. Yes, I am. I defeated them. Nevertheless, to test me by letting out bloodthirst up until now, you're such a mean person. Sirius. I decided to admit it honestly. It is troublesome to keep deceiving him and hiding it further, and in the case of an influential person such as this one, I judged it to be all right. I cancelled, multitask, and was relieved that a battle didn't happen. I grew fond of the school after 2 years, and I'm glad I didn't have to run away from town and throw everything away except my disciples. I'm sorry to surprise you, but I would like to take this opportunity to hear your real intentions. It helps that, Sirius Kun and I understood well that there is no reason to be hostile to each other. Rodwell. That is nice, but weren't you a bit excessive? If one of us was to be careless, it would probably have become a battle, you know. Sirius. There was no other way. I suspected your strength for a long time, but I did not think that you could defeat Dragonkin and advanced-level adventurers easily. Thinking about the danger this time is not even amusing. Rodwell. Well, since I have gone too far this time. Sirius. It is quite reasonable. My disciples could have been injured, that was the reason I went to viciously beat them without thinking. You have power, but you don't seem to use it unjustly, and you care about your companions. This is my personal opinion. I want to build a favorable relationship with Sirius Kun. Rodwell. Me too. Therefore, I have a request. It is about my true strength. Sirius. Yes, I understand. With that such strength, I think it will become troublesome, if the nobles were to hear about it. In regards to Sirius Kun, I will not let anyone know. Rodwell. I'm grateful for your consideration. Sirius. No, since this incident is because of my clumsiness, it's only natural. Besides, if I'm not on good terms with you, I won't receive cake from now on, right? Rodwell. Was that your real intention? Sirius. Anyway, with the end of the Dragon's Fresh Blood group, it seemed that the problem concerning my true strength was settled and I felt relieved. There were other things that needed to be confirmed, but it seemed I couldn't proceed with those matters because Rodwell started to make a bitter face. The mastermind of this incident, Gregory, regretfully, we were not able to find him. Rodwell. Did he run away? Sirius. That's right. When we broke into his house, the person himself had already disappeared along with some of the evidence too. While I said to entrust this to us, I am ashamed. Rodwell. No, the headmaster's response was not wrong. Nevertheless, that guy is fast at running away. Sirius. He is not only outstanding at magic, but also at running away. However, he is already a wanted man with the testimony that I got from yesterday's interrogation and the evidence found in his house. Wanted posters will be posted by the end of the day, and he probably can't take any conspicuous actions, at least in elision. Rodwell. What will become to his students and to the people close to him? And then, how about the two nobles that were led by the murderers into the labyrinth? Sirius. Although Hart and Merluza were proud, it was also admirable that they apologized. Since they were innocent, I felt sorry for them for getting involved with some adults, who were acting rashly. The students who were under Gregory's wings will be put under the guidance of a substitute teacher. Then, Hart-kun and Merluza-kun were judged as innocent. Those two know nothing and they were forced by Gregory to take the murderers in. In short, all faults lies with Gregory. Rodwell. You had an unpleasant face, you know. Sirius. Really? By the way, those two are still young and are easily tempted by others. So, I think it is unreasonable to give them a heavy punishment. They lost their trusted servants and they probably learned a lot from this incident. Rodwell. We were all safe, but those nobles lost 3 servants each, and while there probably were some disputes among the households, and I think this incident taught them a lot. Like the saying goes, sometimes a strong poison could become a strong medicine instead. Nevertheless, I'm saved. That is because the interrogation of Goran and Romeo's went smoothly. It's all thanks to you. Rodwell. I only beat them up. Even so, did I overdo it by killing them? Sirius. No, I would rather dispose of them. I'm really saved. By the way, if I was the only interrogator there, I would have done it myself. Rodwell. Rodwell was laughing with unpleasant face again. As expected, when you become a headmaster, you won't be able to keep your position without sometimes getting your hands dirty. They are dead, but the information is there and we will spread it. Gregory will surely be dealt with, since we don't plan on capturing him alive. That is awful. Sirius. I'll accept that as a compliment. By the way, Sirius-kun, what did you do in order to kill the remaining 2? Rodwell. That is probably about Gorawan's and Romeo's heads exploding. It is an ability to blow up opponent's head at a long distance. What a terrible skill. Perhaps, Rodwell's speech is justified, but it is a secret. I am unable to do it unless I touch the subject, and since I don't plan to use it except on an enemy like a killer, please don't ask me about it. Sirius. It can't be helped then. I trust your personality. Although I didn't get an explanation, that ability is dangerously powerful. I think this goes without saying, but please be careful. Rodwell. He gave up surprising easily. If I had to explain that, it is nothing but the usual impact. My impact can be invoked with a delay. Besides, it is possible to be activated according to another's magic power. This time, it is nothing more than invoking with an arbitrary timing and the target being the killer's head. Then, how did I put it into operation? In regards to Romeo's, I set the trigger of impact to be when he tries to use magic. For Goran, I gave a suggestion to him in advance, that if the person himself tries to talk to anyone but the headmaster, it will become a switch to trigger his own magical power. This won't affect those who have strong will, but it is a useful skill for a weakened opponent. It was one of the things that I've been taught in my previous life. Since there is time delay, there won't be any evidence, and it is an ideal skill for assassination. In my previous life I'd just replace impact with a small size bomb. I discussed several other matters and the discussion between me and the headmaster was finished. Emilia and Royce rushed to cling to me the moment I returned to the classroom, which made Magna-sensei angry again. All students were gathered in auditorium during afternoon, where the details of the case were revealed at that time. It was a matter of terrible killers appearing in the school's labyrinth and there being victims. Those killers were invited by Gregory. He was now a wanted man and he has since disappeared. I thought the headmaster is a very firm person by exposing the school scandal, but because of his eloquent speech, he managed to direct all the blame toward Gregory. But still, his way with words was splendid. Being 400 years old is not just for show. Every crime was put on Gregory, as the headmaster was continuously making a point of taking a lesson from this incident, on the stage. Meanwhile, Royce, who was close, whispered softly to me. "Aniki, I wonder what happened to the remaining survivors of Dragon's Fresh Blood." Royce. "Well, maybe we won't see them for again." Sirius. "Is that so? To keep losing is something unpleasant, Royce. I understand the feeling of wanting to fight back, but instead of thinking about cheap ways to win, I think it would be better if you find ways to win against me." Sirius. "Is that so? As one would expect of Aniki." Royce. "The truth is, I wanted to have them defeated by the hands of my disciples, but even their personality was too dangerous to let them go. Of course. I was angry too, when those disciples of mine were harmed, but I judged that it would influence them negatively were they to deal with murderers, so I decided to handle the matter completely. Although it seems that they were going to be dealt with even if I didn't do it myself this time, I cleaned up by my own hands. As for me, being an agent, I used to work in shadows without standing in the spotlight. It was not possible to live a normal life, while dealing with targets behind the scenes daily. I don't plan to tell this to my disciples until the necessary time comes. It is because I don't want to explain it poorly. When talking about assassins, it is similar to those terrible killers from a different point of view. The difference being whether one is delighted about murder or not. However, if it is to protect them, I intend to undertake any dirty work. Even if I have reincarnated, my principle is not changing. As a Shisho, and as an agent. Although it leaves a bad taste when the mastermind disappears, the case of horrific murders closed got resolved this way. As for result of the event, it had become difficult discussion.